There are more and more high-rises being built across all cities, across smaller towns. Now, despite of having high-rise building, has the law been governing high-rise building? Is it to the today's standard? Is it to the international standard? I would say no. If you look at the law what all states are based on is based on a national building code, which we call as NBC. Now NBC is being first made in 1970s and then amended in probably 1983, 87 and 2005, which they say is a comprehensive NBC guidelines where all states are following. And if you see what the national building codes are, it lacks a lot of safety features where other countries, where developed countries are able to make codes which are being implemented, whereas in India the law itself lacks basic safety guidelines. Now how will such large building, despite of going such high rise, why would they even lack safety guidelines for the fire? Well, let me give you what the code says. The code says any building which is 7-story or higher is supposed to be high rise. Now, why the code does not say that there is a separate guidelines, let's say till 15th floor, anything which is 20 floor and above, anything which is 30 floor and above, and why there is no specific guidelines which is 50-story and above. All these high rises building has large safety concern, and the present law does not cater to those guidelines. The Mumbai municipality or the fire department in Bombay has been, in the last 4 years, has conducted a survey for 5,000 buildings, and they found that out of 5,000 buildings, 2,600 buildings do not have the basic safety criteria. Now what it means is, despite of all laws being created, is the building maintaining these safety parameters? No, they are not. What is the government doing about it? They are merely issuing notices to those buildings and just ensuring that those places which does not have basic safety parameters done, they are only issuing notice to them and making sure that is being done. Today, if you look at the survey of the municipality itself, there are more than 55,000 buildings, high-rise building, which does not have occupation certificate. That means there are 55,000 building which is not fit for occupation. Now there we are talking about something which has got OC and does not have. Now look at the buildings which does not even have an occupation certificate. Well, this whole thing that we are living in a city is a complete jigsaw puzzle where the government nor cares, nor is the society who are there, or is the collective society conscious to make sure the buildings are safe, is not even there. Now what are we supposed to do? What is the government supposed to do? Now there are many things which the government are supposed to do, what the society as such should do, what an individual have to do. Now I will point out some of the basic parameters for it. Now let me point out where the occupants or the residents, the problems that they are facing. Now first and foremost problem that they are facing is they lack basic understanding of fire safety norms and fire safety issues. Firstly, all doors for the fire staircase has to be airtight, and it has to be of 2-hour fire rating, which should be made of metal. The frame has to be metal. Now you tell me one residential building, show me where there are metal doors. You will hardly find one. The reason is because the builders are able to get away with just certifying, saying that it's a 2-hour fire rating doors. All door has to be airtight, ensuring that the smoke does not even penetrate into the staircase. Point number 2, all the ducts which are there in the building has to be sealed. Now this is a surprise to a lot of people. What does it mean? If your ducts are open, they are the source of the smoke and fire to travel. Once in all the plumbing ducts or the electrical ducts that you see, they have to be closed with concrete. Now these are international parameters being there, but not a single building, or probably hardly few buildings in India follow this. Thirdly is, at every 7th floor there has to be a refuge floor. Now probably in metros etc., the refuge floor is part of their building guidelines etc., but a lot of non-metros do not have this. So they are probably 10-story building and they do not have a refuge floor where people in terms of fire could go and gather there, and that is a place where the fire would probably not penetrate. This is one of the reasons why refuge floors are there. Now the next point is, the most important point is the two-way communication line. When there is fire at every refuge floor, there has to be a two-way communication line. Very important, because when there is a fire, people panic, they'll take drastic steps. You would see in what has happened in the recent fire, people have jumped out of the windows, people have jumped out of the terraces because of panic. But you will have to understand, the moment there is a two-way communication line, people below should be able to communicate to people on the floor where they are stuck, so that they could be able to convey correctly what to be done, what not to be done, etc. Then we have is, in every building there have to be a fire lift. Well, in terms of norms it has been specified. How much it is done, we hardly know. But the thing is, being a fire lift does not qualify to be a fire lift. It has to have a separate electrical connection. So when there is a fire, the first thing that the building society management etc. does is they switch off all the lift. Now that is not correct, because when you switch off all the lift, your fire lift will also get switched off. It has to have a separate electrical connection, because it is used for rescue, it is used for people who are trapped etc., and it is meant for people to escape when there is a fire. The other is, you got to have, every society should have a DG set for these lifts, for emergency lights. In case of fire at night, people should be able to evacuate safely. When there is no light, the panic becomes much bigger. Old people, children, they get scared too much, they take drastic steps to ensure that drastic steps during the fire. And the third is, in terms of all developed countries, smoke mask at every floor. In fact, I have seen is there are smoke masks in every house. In case of fire, if they got trapped, they should be able to wear smoke mask, go to the refuge respective floor to wait for evacuation, or go to the ground floor, or go to the terraces etc. Now these are basic mandatory things what the society or a common man should know. The other problem is, when a building is being handed over to the society does not take the onus of all the operational things what the builders are giving. They do not even check if the fire safety norms has been complied with, what has been given by the law, is it working, condition, the attitude has been as a carelessness by various society. It is the responsibility of every society, every individual, to ensure that the safety norms are being taken seriously, and what the builder is giving, is it as per the law? Do not depend on the law to take its own course. You got to be making sure that what the society getting from a developer has to be checked and in a proper working order. Last but the least, the government should take action against society in a very serious manner. People who default on fire safety norm, society which default on fire safety norm, developers which default on fire safety norm, there has to be a mandatory jail term. There have to be ensuring that unless and until the government have very strict rules for the people who do not follow norms, this will not change. You will always find that there are more and more lives being lost due to fire, and if this has to stop, the government has to ensure that they take a very prominent and necessary action. Thank you very much.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.